looks like the majority of people have signed in. Thanks, everyone. Really excited today about a demo and webinar on ClinSheets, our clinical PMO solution built on the Smartsheet backend. I'll do a quick intro for myself and the company, and also introduce Scott, our other speaker today, who's our technical lead, and will walk us through the product. I'm Andre Tallet. I'm the founder of Digital Radius and our product ClinSheets. Previously, I spent 6 years at Moderna, where I was the VP of Enterprise Systems, including running clinical PMO from the technical side. I worked very closely with our clinical PMs, our chief medical officer, to build out a solution as we had a large, complex pipeline and needed to manage our clinical trials in a more efficient way than ThinkCell, PowerPoint, Excel, which is where we were when I started working with the team. Digital Radius is about 2 years old. We're about 20 people. We focus on life sciences and in particular biotech, and we're a digital transformation partner. So we help organizations of all size modernize their operations and improve efficiency using technology. We really come at the solutions from a technology perspective. ClinSheets grew out of that. We started as a Smartsheet partner well over a year ago. We hired some great leads for our Smartsheet team, including people with deep experience at Smartsheet, including Scott. And we've now turned that into our top tier, or really our flagship product, which is ClinSheets. ClinSheets is a combination of our knowledge as consultants and digital transformation advisors and Smartsheet developers with our background in life sciences, clinical PMO, and clinical operations. We really believe that ClinSheets is transformative, and I have a deep, strong connection to clinical trial research, clinical trial operations, and improving efficiency in the space. There's a lot of good research out there, including a good recent Forrester report on Smartsheet, that leveraging Smartsheet leads to about a 7 to 10% improvement in both cost and time. Those are huge numbers for clinical, if we can achieve those. The next slide, looking at some of our clients, I joke this is probably the most impressive slide I can show today, but we've worked across the industry with a lot of life sciences companies, both in the early clinical stage as well as commercial companies that are just out of their venture rounds or still in venture studio type settings, or companies that are public and looking to grow and expand and improve efficiency in their operations. Our background spans that gamut. We really focus in on those companies looking to improve their operations, looking to bring process consistency and better controls to their environment, and looking to leverage technology and becoming more of a digital company, right? Thinking digitally at their core. That's a lot of the work I did at Moderna, and then Resilience, where I also led Enterprise Systems. And that is what we try to do with Digital Radius, and what ClinSheets is really a product of, that transformation mindset. How do we think digitally, and how do we be a more digital company? So I want to dive a little bit into ClinSheets and why we're so passionate about it. And actually, interestingly, I've been on patient journey for the last couple of years myself, looking at this sort of from both perspectives. What really matters to me about ClinSheets is we want to more efficiently run our clinical programs and clinical trials. And this is really coming at it from the PMO perspective. We started with, let's use Smartsheet to build a solution, in this case for one client, around clinical PMO. And very quickly, it turned into, well, actually, I think we can really take this a lot further. And Scott will go into the technical side of this, but from the operations side or the functional side, more my background, the goal here is how do we really improve visibility into clinical trials, the operations of the clinical PMO team, and consistency in terms of how do we all communicate, collaborate, and manage these programs and projects together. There's a lot of work that goes into managing clinical trials, and historically, it's been very manual. It's been very heavily reliant on the project manager, who has to do a ton of manual work and tracking, dates, tasks, et cetera, and trying to keep everything on track is a huge amount of effort. Smartsheet is a wonderful platform that then has evolved over the last few years with additional tools, and Scott will go into a lot of the advanced solutions in Smartsheet that we use to build ClinSheets. And there's a lot of great information on our website as well, ClinSheets.com. You can see information about our technical breakdown and how this product was built. But effectively, we've taken a Smartsheet platform and turned it into a fully built out solution for clinical trials management, portfolio and project management. That's what gets me really excited, is how do we dramatically improve efficiency? How do we dramatically improve collaboration, communication, and task management in the clinical PMO space? And that's what we've done with ClinSheets. It's our flagship solution. We're incredibly excited about it, and we really want to dive into how it works and show you as much as we can today. Also, just quick note, feel free to chat along the way. Jess Tobin's running this for us. If you want to chat with her in terms of, or send a message around questions, please do, and she will then be able to feed those to Scott and myself as we go through the webinar. With that, I'll hand it over to Scott, our technical lead.
Thanks, Ander. Hello, everyone. Yeah, as Ander said, my name is Scott Parmalee, and I am one of the principal Smartsheet architects on the Digital Radius team. My background is very much in Smartsheet. I was an employee of Smartsheet for a little over 6 years, and I'm now super happy to be working on the Digital Radius team, helping clients of all sizes and verticals really be successful using Smartsheet and really building out some top-tier solutions. So I've had the pleasure to be able to, using Ander's expertise and other client expertise as well, really develop a solution called ClinSheets on the Smartsheet platform. So I'm real excited to be able to walk you through the solution today, at least parts of it, and really show you the different key components of the solution. Please ask questions at any time on the Zoom bar. You should see a Q&A. You can throw those in. Some of those we might address as we go, and others will wait till the end to get to. But don't be shy. Feel free to ask in any and every question from the clinical side to really Smartsheet feature functionality as well. We'd be happy to address any of those questions. So here is a high-level really roadmap for how we're going to look at the ClinSheet solution today. One of the key components of this ClinSheet solution is really your role-based access. So depending on who you are, you might be interacting with this solution in a different way. If you are an executive, you really don't need to get into the gritty details and have the ability to update all of the milestones and tasks. What you want is a high-level overview. And we'll actually start there with the solution. Is if you're an executive or really someone who just needs to see a high-level summary of your clinical portfolio, what does that look like? Then moving on, we'll actually take a look at if you are more of that project manager or portfolio manager, what does it look like to really work in the ClinSheet solution and make changes and access your tasks and assign people to tasks? And very importantly, what does the project creation process look like? So you have a backlog of projects and you need to manage the project requests and you have approval cycles. And what does it look like to create new projects and have this roll up to all of these portfolio views? And of course, depending on time, we can talk about, what are the different views that you might have into this ClinSheet solution. If you are an external user, if you're just a task manager, and so forth. There's a lot of customization that we can do here. So without further ado, we will dive into the ClinSheet solution here. All right, this is the ClinSheet solution here. What I have open, if you're familiar with Smartsheet, this is a Smartsheet work app. And what a Smartsheet work app is, for those who have some background in Smartsheet, it's a way to really package a Smartsheet solution in a really usable, shareable way. One of the key things that I'll note here is a work app is also role-based, and everything that I'll show today is very much role-based. So right now I'm viewing the work app as that executive leadership role. You see here, I will click through some of the other different roles, and you'll see how really the solution will change and adjust as I put on those different hats. But what I have open here, this is our portfolio management dashboard. It's looking at our entire portfolio of clinical projects and rolling up the key information that I care about and that I want to see on this dashboard. So just at the top here, I see some of that high level information, just like the number of active projects that I have, projects that are at risk. Maybe I have a backlog of projects and I can see what's in the queue. And then some key information like project health, project status, and breaking down the variety of projects I have by their stage. I will note here that everything you see today is somewhat customizable. So you might be thinking in your clinical process and your clinical trials, you might care about slightly different metrics or want to see things broken down by different phases and different stages, and that's totally okay. What we do when we work with clients is we really take this best practice structure and optimize it and tweak it to be the perfect fit for your situation. So if you think you want to see just slightly different metrics, know that that is very common. That's very normal to want to be able to tweak this. And we really work with you to adjust the metrics here. And that is true with really everything that you'll see today as we go through the solution. Scrolling down, we start to see a little bit more of a breakdown of our portfolio. So in this example, we have 4 separate programs that project can fall into. And in this section of the dashboard, we're actually breaking our projects down into those 4 programs and starting to see some key statuses with those programs. So I can hover my mouse over here and actually see the number of projects in each program and how they're broken down into the variety of phases. It's also very common to track budget with our projects as well. And I've broken down the budget and rolled them up to those key programs as well. If I want to see more detail, this is very common in Smartsheet, we give you the ability to click down and really see more detail in any program. So if I actually want to see more detail with my Orca program, I can just click here. And this will navigate me to my Orca program dashboard. So instead of looking at the entire portfolio of projects, I'm just looking at my Orca program projects and seeing a lot of that same information here. We might go back to this dashboard, but let's continue looking at our portfolio summary dashboard. Continue to scroll down. This is where we start to continue to see more and more detail of what's happening in my portfolio of projects. So in this report, I'm actually seeing all of my active projects and then key information about those projects. So I can see the project health, a little bit of the project name and description, what stage it is in, the project type, if we have a variety of project types, and then some other key information like the expected start date and finish date, some regulatory statuses, some of those key roles for that project and their budget. Again, this is something that would be fully customizable. If you want to roll up specific information about your projects, we can do that here. And scrolling down, we'll start to see the milestones of each one of these projects and how they fall on a Gantt chart. So here are some key milestones that we've included for each of these projects. And on the right is a Gantt chart, which shows in these nice bars where they will fall on the calendar. And I can start to scroll down and start to see really when these different phases will fall. Finally, we've worked with a number of clients who really like to use Power BI to either aggregate additional data outside of their Smartsheet environment, or they just like some of the customization that Power BI enables. And that's great. We very much support that. And so what's great is we don't have to be limited to just the Smartsheet dashboard items. We can actually include Power BI dashboards directly in the ClinSheets solution as well. So what I have down here is a Power BI dashboard that is pulling live data from this ClinSheet solution and showing it in just more customizable ways. And so here I can see again the portfolio level programs and projects and their timelines. And I can click through and see a variety of different views, just really as a sample of what we're able to show in a Power BI dashboard and include that right alongside the Smartsheet items as well. All right, so that is our portfolio summary dashboard. If there's any questions, feel free to continue to write them in. Moving down this, we might actually care about a variety of different views as well. And what's really great about this ClinSheet solution is it's really easy to customize these different views. So I'll jump down to this milestone calendar. So this utilizes a premium app called Smartsheet Calendar app. And it's really taking that same Smartsheet data and presenting it in a more dynamic calendar view. So this is breaking down the different phases of my clinical projects down the left and showing where each project phase lands. So I can start to see just at a glance the different phases and when those project phases will land on a calendar. This can be really helpful for capacity planning, resource management, and just getting an idea of what phases and what months are going to be maybe a little bit more difficult. And just like anything in Smartsheet, this is not just a static calendar. This is live and updating as date shifts in our project plan, which we'll get to. This is going to automatically be reflected on this calendar as well. And this is also a place that I can even make changes to each individual phase. So if I go to this Project Odyssey, if I click on it, I'll see more detail included on this calendar. And this is where I can actually make controlled changes to this specific phase. So you'll see up here, there are things that I have locked down to say, hey, I don't want to give this user the ability to make changes to these fields. But down below, I've enabled the ability to make new changes. So I can say, please update task or, add to the description. I can actually update the phase. And we can actually have comments and discussions regarding this one phase as well. When I hit update, it's going to push those changes down to the specific sheet as well. One question has come in with the calendar app, so I'll address that right now. Can calendar app changes occur to dates if they have predecessors? That's a great question. So the question has to do with using predecessors and predecessor relationships with our tasks. And I'll show you what those predecessor relationships look like when we get to the individual project plan. We can still use this calendar app with predecessors. Any change that's made on the core sheet will still be reflected on this calendar app. You won't really be wanting to change dates using the calendar app if you have predecessors enabled. You'll need to go down to the core sheet to update the dates, but everything else will be able to change. So this is, again, just one of those customizable views that we can build looking at the ClinSheet solution. I showed you the Power BI dashboard. We can include that as its own tab as well. And we also work with a number of clients who really like to use PowerPoint decks to really report on their projects. My personal preference is to show a portfolio summary dashboard, something like that. But we totally understand that often, using the deck is still the best way for you to report on the project. What's really great is we can still include that live ClinSheet data directly into the PowerPoint deck. I've embedded this deck directly in the work app as well, but you can still distribute this deck as the normal ways you would. So I'm not going to go through this a full sample deck here, but you'll be able to see here that I have included that Power BI dashboard directly in this PowerPoint deck, and we can actually see that live project information directly in this deck. The last customized view that I'll show before switching hats to a project manager is this budget management view. Often we want to track budget with our projects and again, have those roll up to really be able to see across the whole portfolio of projects, how am I doing with my budget and my actuals, or have that broken down by specific program and specific phase. And so it's great. Maybe in this view, you don't really care about the project health. And so we don't need to show you all of that. We're just going to show you the budget information so you can quickly see at a glance how you're trending with your budgets. All right, you'll see here as an executive leadership, we haven't shown all of the information, but if you are a project manager or a program admin, you'll actually want to have access to more information. So I've switched hats here and now I'm saying I am that project manager, and I need to be a little bit more involved in the day-to-day and actually see the details. And so I've included a bit more items here that we'll run through. Some of those are similar as well, and we'll skip those. But first off, let's say I am that project manager and I actually want to drill down and see more detail with one of these projects. So I can click on any of these links, and now we'll actually drill down and start to see more detail with a very specific project. So what I have open here is, instead of a portfolio dashboard, it's just a specific project dashboard. So this is my Aurora project, and I'm including, again, just key information, fully customizable, of some of that data that I want to see related to my project. So I have some key project data up on the top, and then as I scroll down, I'm including some key people for my project team, and some of that actual task status information, and how many tasks I have that are not started, and progress and complete. And then some key tasks I'm showing directly on the dashboard here, as well as their status. Scrolling down, I've also included, if you're tracking really an action log or tracking risks and decisions that need to be made in the form of a RAID log, we can show that directly here on the dashboard, so you get really a good view of those key action items that need to be made or decisions that need to be made, as well as their summary information here. And scrolling down, we've also included some regulatory information if that's applicable for you, and you can see key statuses with regards to any regulatory information. But I actually want to drill down and see the project plan. I want to go down to the very base layer where I'll be working with individual tasks. So I can drill down to my project plan. And what I have open here, this is a Smartsheet. So if you're familiar with Smartsheet, this is really where it's sort of that core base level of Smartsheet, and how you will be collaborating on your tasks, automating your tasks, and really managing all of your tasks. So what I have open here, it's really a robust project plan. You know, it's almost 700 line items long for managing your clinical trials. We've included key tasks from project kickoff to proposal, all the way through clinical trials, regulatory, and post-approval research and monitoring. Again, this is an area where we often see a lot of customization, where if you focus on preclinical, we would maybe really only include the preclinical tasks and work with you to add the appropriate tasks that are needed. But opening up some of this as an example, on the right, you'll see where these tasks fall on the calendar with the Gantt view. These lines were mentioned earlier. These are predecessors. And so if a task gets delayed, we'll see the downstream tasks automatically update. We're also including baselining. So these bars on the right, these show the original start and finish date of these individual tasks. And I can click on baselines and actually see a little bit more of my baseline information here. Now, there is a whole suite of amazing Smartsheet collaboration features. It would take me probably a few hours to go through every single Smartsheet feature that is available to you just out of the box. So I won't go through everything. I'll share some of the highlights, but just know that there's a lot of other great features to really help you collaborate on your tasks, as well as manage your tasks, assign tasks out to people. If you want to see a specific thing, feel free to throw it in that Q&A, and I'll be sure to show that. But often where it starts is sharing this project plan. So I want my team to have access to all of these tasks. So I can share this project plan to my team. This is something that will often be done automatically, and I'll show you that after this. But if you need to share to additional people, you can always do that. And a key thing to note here is that everything is controlled. So depending on the access that someone should have, we can grant them appropriate access. So if they need to be an admin and really make any change, we can share them as an admin. If we just want them to make very specific changes, we can share them as an editor and control what what access they have to the sheet, or maybe they just need to view tasks and not make changes, or maybe comment on specific tasks and not make changes. So we can control how we are sharing this project plan out to people. So if I'm a project manager, I might want to assign a task to someone. So I can assign this task to Brian. And what's great is that now Smartsheet is using a different automation to really build workflows for me. Because I've assigned this task to Brian, he has received a notification letting him know that he has been assigned to this task and that he should be responsible and be tracking his items here. There is a whole bunch of automations that we can set. I will go and just show you some of the templates that are out of the box, and we can customize any of these automations as well. So there's a lot that we can do, from notifying people of specific changes. So if you're assigned to a task, maybe you should receive an alert. If a task has been marked at risk, that status ball goes to red. Maybe as a project manager, you want to receive that notification. Or maybe you want to receive reminders when a task is due or past due. Those type of notifications are really easy to set up. And you can see some of those examples here. I'll show you the two that we currently have set up right now. And one is that one we've already referenced. So alert an owner on assignment. So Brian just received an alert that I assigned him to that task. And then this one I think is really great. So we send an update request if a task is not complete. So once a task becomes past due, we're actually going to send someone proactively an update asking them to update the status of the task. And I'll show you what that looks like, because I think it's one of the better features of Smartsheet. So I'll show you what an update request is, and then a couple questions have come in, and I'll take a look at those. So an update request is a great way to really invite someone to make a change to a specific row. We can send these update requests automatically using automation, or you can right-click on any row. We can send an update request, and I'll actually send this to Brian. And then I can specify what fields Brian will have access to and when this update request will go out. And what this is it's going to send an actionable email there to where you can actually make a change directly through your inbox, or you can actually come into the Smartsheet app and make that change as well. I'll actually send myself one as well, just to show you what it looks like. So if I hit refresh on my notifications here, you'll see this update request has come in, and I can make a change directly to the task here. I can reassign it if needed. And when I hit submit update, you'll see that these changes have been reflected automatically. You might care about keeping track of the changes that have been made. And there's a couple great features that we can enable to really help you as a project manager keep track of those changes. So one feature I really like is highlight changes. So I can turn on changes that have happened in the last hour. And immediately I see, this is the change I just made to the task, but also it looks like Brian came in and completed that update as well. If you want to see the record of that change, I can right click on any cell, go to view cell history, and see a running history of the changes that have been made to an individual cell and when those changes were made. So I can see that Brian completed that update request and actually updated the status of the task. He also included a comment on the task as well, saying that he just finished this yesterday. These comments and conversations are a great way to bring those email interactions into one place using Smartsheet. So I can have a threaded conversation directly on a specific row and really capture that entire conversation directly here. If you @ tag someone, they will receive a notification And they can actually just reply to their email, and that response will be captured directly in the row here. Finally, attachments are a great way to bring different documents that you have directly into the project plan as well. I can attach a specific file, or if you're using another cloud storage platform, you can reference those files directly in the Smartsheet as well. So again, it really consolidates that work collaboration into one place, so you don't have to keep on switching platforms to view the different items that you need. All right, let's take a look at a couple of the questions that came through. One was, can you add more specific and timeline detail to the different components of the project plan? Yes, absolutely. So we can really customize this project plan to include the amount of detail that is appropriate for your project. So again, know that this is a fully customizable project plan. All right, a couple other things on really the core Smartsheet that I'll show before transitioning to really how do we create new project plans. One is the different ways we view this project plan. So a Gantt view is often the most common way to view a project plan like this. But sometimes we actually want to see our tasks in cards. So card view is especially appropriate for more agile project plans, but also just gives you a new way to view the tasks that you have already. So I have it currently broken down by health, so I can see my red health, my yellow, green, and blue, etc. But I can easily pivot this, and if I maybe want to see my task by status, and actually make changes to the tasks directly here. I can also see it by owner would be a really appropriate way, and directly make changes as needed and assign these tasks to Brian. We can, of course, create filters. So I can maybe filter for current user, and then I'll see just my tasks here as well, and actually filter out other people's tasks, which would be more appropriate probably if we're viewing this by status. All right. So if you are a task owner and you've been assigned to a number of different tasks across a number of projects, you probably don't want to have to click to each individual project plan to view your tasks. What we want to do is create a consolidated view across all portfolio projects that show you just your tasks. And what's great is ClinSheets, using those work apps, really enables that for you. So I'm going to leave this project plan and actually go back to the work app here. And again, if I'm a task owner, I just want to see my tasks. I don't want to have to click through 20 different project plans to update my tasks. Well, we can, again, create those custom views. And one of those great ones is this My Task report. So what this is doing is it's looking across all of the projects and summarizing the tasks that are assigned to me. So we see the 3 projects that I'm currently on and those tasks underneath. And again, this is a controlled, customizable way for how we share this information. I can control what fields a person can see and update. I don't have to share them to everything. I can choose exactly what they change. So in this case, I have enabled them to update the health and status, but not the start and finish date. So I can actually view my tasks, use those conversations and attachment features directly here, and not really have to go into a large project plan and click through multiple project plans. So it's a great way to really just consolidate someone's items and make it really easy for them to see the tasks that are assigned to them. All right. Well, let's say we have, we have this one project created, and this project has a number of different items associated with it. It has that project dashboard, which we showed. It's got a RAID log that is tracking our risks and items, and it's as well as a budget sheet as well. Well, and then this project is also rolling up to that portfolio dashboard. Well, let's say I have a new project I don't want to have to create a new project plan, a new dashboard, and if you're familiar with Smartsheet, you have to create these links to have it roll up to that portfolio dashboard. That can be a lot of work without the ClinSheet solution and Smartsheet Control Center. So I'll show you how simple it actually is to create new projects. So let's first say I have a new project request. I have a new project idea, and I want to request that that project be run. I can actually kick off that process using a form. So I can actually complete this form and say, I'll say that I am Benjamin Russell. I have a new project request in the ORCA program. It is a preclinical project, and I'll just name this new test project. Give it a description, a really great project, a sample budget, and give it a sample start date and end date. I can include additional documents whenever I fill out a form and just hit submit. Now, as the project manager, I've received a notification letting me know that someone has requested a new project. And I can actually go to this project intake sheet and review the different project requests that I have. So you see there's a bunch of already projects that I have approved here, and these projects have been created, and I can click down and actually view those project plans directly here. But I can see this new one that just came in when I filled out the form, and we can actually build out really complex approval processes. So if you need to have multi-tier approvals based off of budget or project type or program, and really have multiple tiers of approval, we can do that. But in this case, we've actually kept it really simple. So if I'm ready to approve this project, I can assign roles directly in this view if needed. So I can actually say, hey, Scott's going to be, our program owner, and go ahead and assign specific people to their roles. And this will actually control who's being shared to the entire solution directly in this view. I can review the budget and approve as needed. And what's really great is now, instead of having to create a project plan manually, I can just say that project's approved, hit save, and Smartsheet now automatically, using a Smartsheet feature called Smartsheet Control Center, is going to create the entire project plan, the budget tracker, the RAID log, any other component that I have, the dashboard, and make those connections to the portfolio dashboard automatically for me. It's a really robust and powerful automation and saves a lot of time, so you don't have to create new project plans. This can take just a moment to create all of the assets. So we'll just pause for 1 second while Smartsheet completes this for any questions. So a new question came in, which is a really good question. Would you be able to add a new program to your portfolio with this Control Center template? So if you look at our solution, we have multiple tiers. We have really a view of our entire portfolio. We have specific programs, which is a mid-tier, and then we have projects, which is the base tier. So yes, we can have what we call the multi-tier solution, where you're actually creating specific projects or specific programs with the Control Center application. So in this demo right here, we're only creating projects, but we certainly can enable it to create new programs as well as you have new programs. Let's do a quick refresh to see if this new program's come in. Again, it just takes a moment as it's creating a number of items. A couple new programs came in as well. Questions came in as well. Do I need a Smartsheet license to use ClinSheets? That is a really great question. And it depends on your role, but you might not. So if you are that program manager who's really going in and owning the sheets and really managing all of the tasks, you will need a Smartsheet license as you are owning the items. If you are just viewing the items and maybe viewing the dashboards, you don't need a Smartsheet license to do that. So it really depends on the level of access that you need to the ClinSheet solution. All right, as I hit refresh once more, we'll see that this new project has automatically been created for me. I can click on the project plan here, and we'll see that this new dashboard, this new test pod project has been created for me automatically. Some of these fields are blank as we haven't really filled things out yet, but it's created that project plan for me, created all those appropriate links as needed, created a RAID log, a budget sheet, and completed this dashboard for me as well. So it's a really powerful solution to really help create new project plans. All right, in the final moments here, we'll just review just some other customized views that we can do. So it's also common to share the ClinSheet solution to external users. And when we're sharing to external users, access is pretty important. So I do have an external users tab. And again, what I've done here is I've shown a lot less information because we don't want to overshare to any external user. So they don't have access to any of that budget dashboards or anything like that, or really the ability to create new projects. But I've shown them just the important parts. Like we want to actually show them that milestone calendar so they get at a glance the different projects. And most importantly, we shared them to their My Task report. And again, just to reiterate, this is where they'll see their tasks, but in a very controlled way to where, we're not actually giving them access to everything. We're just going to give them access to their tasks and give them the ability to really only update the tasks that are assigned to them. So we have just a few views and roles here, and this is another area that is fully customizable depending on the types of roles and access that you need in your organization. So keep the questions coming in. We'll actually move away from the Smartsheet solution for a moment as we wrap up our slides, but if you have more questions, we can always return. So let's talk just for a moment on the solution implementation. I've referenced this a good bit as I've gone through the demo, but you are not just, we don't just hand over the ClinSheet solution and say good luck. At Digital Radius, we are your partners in really ensuring the successful deployment of the solution. So we will customize the solution to your environment. So we will make those tweaks and changes as needed to really perfectly fit your clinical needs. And as well, this is an opportunity where there's often custom integrations to other enterprise systems. If you need to pull data in or push data out to your other enterprise systems, there is certainly an opportunity to customize that as well. We see clients often do a crawl, walk, run approach. Maybe they start with just sort of the base ClinSheet solution without those integrations. And as they mature, they actually want to bring in more and more integrations. So now you can take really a crawl, walk, run approach to the solution as well. We also provide training, change management, and support. So we do want to provide ongoing support to the solution. Really, as changes are needed, we can tweak things after the successful deployment as well. And we want to work with your organization to really make sure that they are trained up as needed and really are comfortable using the solution. All this being said, though, we like to move fast, and So one of the great things about Smartsheet is that it is relatively easy and quick to deploy. So our average solution deployment is less than 2 months for a ClinSheet solution and similar solutions. So if you're interested and willing to move quick, we can certainly support that as well and get this deployed in really record time. And a quick note, Digital Radius has a lot of other offerings as well. We've really today just shown you our ClinSheet solution, which is really right now our flagship solution, but there's a lot of different solutions that we have pre-built depending on your needs, as well as if you need something fully customizable from the ground up, we're more than interested in building something for you from the ground up. So you see a few of the different ones that we have here. We've talked about system integrations. If you have really any SI needs, but as well as we have a really great worker on and off boarding solution, company goal tracker, request management, vendor audit tracking, and more. So thank you so much for your time. We will take some time to address some additional questions that have come in. So this is the bulk of the demo here, but please don't hesitate to ask any questions right now.
And I'm going to jump in with just a quick statement here as well. Scott, thank you. I continue to be super impressed both with Scott's technical skill in Smartsheet and how quickly he picked up the clinical world and deep understanding of clinical PMO needs. So, a high level, couple of comments after going through the demo. I've lived with a lot of different clinical PMO solutions and tried a lot of different solutions over the years. What really I love about this is the native use of things like role-based access control and how most people transacting, interacting with this platform, even with just the way it's provisioned from day one, we already define what role they have, what access they have, where they can transact, what they can change, what they can't change. This is a huge value add to clinical programs that traditionally, even if they were in Smartsheet, sort of it's everybody has admin rights or doesn't have access or maybe just view all. That much more nuanced view of what's their role and what do they need to have access to and how do they transact with the platform, I think is a huge advantage. So it looks like we've got a couple of questions coming in. Scott, do you want to field the training on Smartsheet?
Yes, great question. Do you provide training on Smartsheets? And the answer is yes. Often what we see is a custom training for a solution that we've built and deployed in your environment, and we will do a training specific to that solution. However, if you just want a general 101 and 102 Smartsheet training, maybe you don't have a specific solution and you're just like, hey, we just have a group of people that want to learn more of the basics. And yes, absolutely. Instead of doing a custom, really solution specific training, we're more than happy to do, really a 101, 201, sort of starting at ground zero, just training on what Smartsheet is. Yeah, happy depending on what you're looking for and what your needs are to do trainings like that. Another question's come in is, does ClinSheet support a single sign-on? Yes. So the Smartsheet platform has a robust single sign-on options, SAML 2.0. So depending on what your needs are there, we can certainly lock down access using things like a single sign-on. Another one that came through, can I link timelines and views to an intranet or other platforms? And yes, as well. So everything that we looked at today, any of these portfolio views, there are embed links that we can grab. And so if you want to see a dashboard like this alongside some other systems, as long as they support those embed links, yes, absolutely. We can really provide this alongside other platforms. It's really common to do that with Microsoft Teams. Microsoft plays really well with Smartsheet, so we can really integrate your Teams environment with the Smartsheet solution as well. Someone wrote in, can I track baselines and track variance for my project timeline? Yes, you can. And so we did, let me just go to a project plan. So there is this baseline feature here where you can actually set a baseline. And then as you have any delays to the project plan, you'll see that specific where that baseline was, and we can track different variances directly here as well. All right, any other questions?
Looks like that's the bulk of the questions. I answered a couple others in the chat. So there are no other questions coming in, I'd also like to add, really appreciate everyone's time today. I'm incredibly excited about this platform. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built. And certainly, if you are looking for more information, feel free to reach out. info@digitalradius, also ClinSheets.com. You can go in and schedule and request an appointment. We've got our Calendly up there to go in and request a demo or an appointment or session with us, or feel free to reach out over email. We are a very technical team. We don't have a sales team. So you're reaching out to leadership or the people behind the project. And we will do our best to implement this for you in a way that really transforms your clinical PMO or your PMO project needs, so that we all help build towards a better future. And, eventually, one of the things I love about working in biotech and incredibly happy with my career in biotech is that this all ultimately ends up with better patient outcomes. And I think it's really always important to keep that in mind. And something that gets me really excited about ClinSheets is, can this eventually have a positive impact on patient outcomes? And I firmly believe yes. Looks like just a couple other questions came in. Oh, there was a cost question. Yeah, great to bring that up. The cost is variable based on the needs, but it is significantly less than what it would be to build this from scratch, and that's the objective here. The objective here is the benefit of software in the sense that we've got hundreds of hours of very senior development hours into this platform. As you can see, it's quite a complex built-out solution in the sense of all of the needs of clinical PMO. The idea being here, as we've turned this into our flagship product, that it would not cost you nearly as much to implement and deploy on your side. So happy to have a discussion. It is variable based on number of projects, customization, hours required, et cetera. But certainly we feel it's very competitive in terms of the pricing against a custom solution or large complex PMO tools. So very happy to dive into that. Anything else here that we need to cover? No, it looks like that's everything. Got a couple of thank yous. Thanks so much. I really appreciate everyone's time today. Scott, thanks so much for walking us through the application. And as I said, everyone feel free to reach out, info@digitalradius or ClinSheets.com. Happy to connect on this. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks. Bye.